want to start, first of all, by giving you and the rest of the staff at the Commons kudos on getting primary election news into this week's edition of the Commons. I know that they didn't call the race for lieutenant governor until about 11 o'clock at night, so to get in the news about who won the nominations for Republican and Democrat for governor, Phil Scott and Sue Minter, and then the different ballot questions in the different communities, Dummerston, Newfane, Vernon, and Halifax. Late night for you all at the paper.
Bruce Listman right now holds the dubious record of spending the most money per vote of any candidate in the history of Vermont.
We'll give Bruce a little credit here because I don't think anybody thought that he would get 40% of the vote in the primary. To me, even though Phil Scott beat him by 20 points, that's probably a little bit closer than a lot of people thought it would be.
Yeah, it's a little closer than people might have thought, but I think that might be just residual distrust of Phil Scott because he worked with a Democrat. And I think this election is going to be kind of one of those wave elections because of all the enthusiasm Bernie stirred up with his presidential run.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a big turnout this year. It's going to be heavily Democratic, motivated by the desire to also send Donald Trump to oblivion, where he richly deserves to be. And I think anybody with a D next to their name is going to benefit from that.
Right. Well, and especially the Ds in Vermont with the lieutenant governor being a progressive who was endorsed by Bernie Sanders. You got to think that that's going to count for something when people go to the polls in November. It probably is good for the Democrats that David Zuckerman is their candidate for lieutenant governor.
But really, for me, the office of lieutenant governor is an incredible opportunity to organize. As a legislator on the issues I've led on, it's always been about people engaging in the process, much like what Bernie's been talking about.
I think the Bernie seal of approval really made a difference with the Bernie voters, and they showed up in force and to push Zuckerman over the top. I really, even watching the results through the night, I really didn't think he could hang on because I thought, he's going to win. David has the benefit of having a term in the Senate, so at least he knows a little bit more about the workings of it as opposed to when he was still serving in the House. And so there's a familiarity factor, at least with the other members of the Senate. So the learning curve shouldn't be so tough for him.